arrays are nothing but the collection of homogeneous elements. If I want to access these elements, then with the help of indices or index, I can able to access the element which is stored in the array. Arrays are categorized into three types: one-dimensional array, two-dimensional array, and multi-dimensional array. Hello to all, a warm welcome to my new session on arrays. I am Revati from the Department of Computer Science, Vidhyaashram, First Grade College, Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. So dear student, before going to start my today's session, let me to recall the topics which I have covered in my last session. In my last session, I started with for loop. Along with that, I have covered jump statement. In jump statement, I have discussed conditional jump and unconditional jump. Along with that, I have discussed continue, break, and exit function. Along with that, I have discussed go to. These are the jump statement I have covered in my last session. But in my today's session, I am going to deal with arrays. That's nothing but introduction about arrays. Along with that, I am going to deal with the types of arrays. That is one-dimensional array, two-dimensional array, and multi-dimensional array. Now, moving further, I'm going to have introduction about an array. So, what is an array here? Here, arrays are nothing but the collection of homogeneous element, and all the elements are grouped under same name. So, dear student, in computer language, we also need to group same kind of data item together. For example, think that I have blue ink pen. So, I'm going to group all blue ink pen together, and I'm going to give the name for that. That is blue ink pen, and I'm having collection of blue ink pen. If I consider numbers, for example, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and I'm going to group all the numbers by some name, or I'm going to recognize all the numbers by the same name, and it is known as array. So when I'm having group of item and I can able to identify those item by the same name is known as arrays. So the most basic mechanism that accomplishes this in C is array. That means to group all the items together in C program, I'm having array. So what is array here? That is nothing but homogeneous collection of element. For example, think that I have same kind of item. For example, I have name. For example, Asha, Beena, Ganesh. Okay, I'm going to group all these names together in the form of array of names. The form of array of names, and it is known as array. So, I can able to store more than one item by using same name. So, array can hold a few data items or 10 or 1000. It depends on the user. So, arrays are capable to hold 5, 10 or 50 data items. The data item grouped in an array can be simple type or floating point type, or it may be a character. That means by using array, I can able to group any kind of data item and it is left to the user. Now, arrays exist in almost every computer language. That means if I consider computer language, arrays can able to exist anywhere. So any programming language, I can have array. So what is array? That is nothing but homogeneous collection. So what is this homogeneous? That is nothing but same kind or similar kind of elements or item. In simple word, what is an array? Array is nothing but a collection of items, and all the items are grouped under same name, and it is known as array. Moving further, I'm going to have array fundamentals. An array is collection of elements where all the names, that means all the elements are grouped under same name, and it is nothing but a collection of elements, and all the elements are numbered from 0 to n minus 1. Because always array index starts from 0, for that reason the nth index here is n minus 1, and these numbers are called indices or index or subscript. Now, dear student, let me to consider the example here. Think that I'm going to have n values, say 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, I want to store these values in my computer memory. Now think that this is our computer memory, and I'm going to store the values one after another. That means when I use array, memories are allocated in a continuous memory location. So dear student, when I define array, a continuous memory locations are reserved for this array, and it is of type integer. So each block is capable to store 2 bytes of data. So what is array? It is nothing but a collection of elements, and where all the elements are grouped under same name. And if I consider this array representation, here I am having the index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll have the index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, this is known as index or indices. It's known as index or indices. And this is also known as base. Suppose if I want to access these elements, then with the help of indices or index, I can able to access the element which is stored in the array. Now, I'm going to have the example here. If A is the name of the array, for example, if I write int A of 5, here A is nothing but the array name. A is nothing but the array name, and it is capable to hold 5 elements, and the range starts from A of 0, A of 1, A of 2, A of 3, and A of 4. So here A of 1, A of 2, A of 3 up to A of n minus 1. Why it is n minus 1? Because always my array index starts from 0. So here A of 0 is the name of the first element, and A of n minus 1 is the index of last element. So what is the index of first element? That is A of 0. And what about last element? It is A of n minus 1. Now, this is my array representation. Think that I have read these values and it is stored in the computer memory. Now, what is my array name? A is my array name, and 10 is present at the location A of 0, 20 A of 1, 30 A of 2, 40A of 3 and 50A of 4. And this is my starting index and this is my ending index. And this 0 to 4 is known as index or base or indices. Now, if I want to access 30 with the help of index, I can able to access 30. Or if I want to know the position of element, then with the help of index, I can able to get the position of my element. Now, I'm going to have type of arrays. So here arrays are categorized into 3 types: one-dimensional array, two-dimensional array and multi-dimensional array. So dear student, let's see what is one-dimensional array. So as the name itself indicates that array is going to have only one dimension. So here what is dimension? That is nothing but the index or indices. So it is an array in which each element is accessed by using only one subscript or only one index, and the only one subscript represents the position of the element. For example, if I have A of 4, so how many index I have here? Only one, and this 4 is going to represent the position. Now, I'm going to have two-dimensional array. So, what is this two-dimensional array? Here, two-dimensional arrays are going to have two dimensions, that is two index or two indices, and one is for row and one is for column. It is an array in which each element is accessed using two subscripts. The subscripts represents the position of the element in the array. So, always subscript or indices are used to represent the position of the array. Now, dear student, let me to write the two-dimensional array. So, here array name is A and I have two dimensions, say 1 and 2. So, it is my row and this is my column. So, all the two-dimensional arrays are example for matrix. So, here all the two-dimensional arrays are example for matrix. Now, if I consider this array, then it is capable to hold only two values. So, 1 into 2, it is 2. So, it is capable to hold only two values. Then what is the index? That is A of 0, 0 and A of 0 and 1. So, it is capable to hold only two values. Now, I'm going to have multi-dimensional array. So, here multi-dimensional array is an array with n dimension. So, I'm going to have n index or n indices. In other words, an array of array is called multi-dimensional array. So, here when I'm going to define array of array, in that time it is known as multi-dimensional array. So, one-dimensional array of one-dimensional array is also called two-dimensional array. So, dear student, if I consider one-dimensional array and I'm going to create one more one-dimensional array, in that is called two-dimensional array. So, here one-dimensional array of one-dimensional array is called two-dimensional array, and one-dimensional array to two-dimensional array is called three-dimensional array. So, one-dimensional array, in that one-dimensional array, if I create, then it is called two-dimensional array. Now, I have one-dimensional array, in that I will create one more two-dimensional array, then it is called 3-dimensional array, and it is going to continue. So it is so on. Dear student, in my next session, I am going to deal with one-dimensional array, how to represent one-dimensional array, how to declare one-dimensional array, how to initialize one-dimensional array. Along with that, I am going to deal with memory representation. So, dear student, in my today's session, I started with what is array. Along with that, I have discussed the different types of arrays. That is one-dimensional array, two-dimensional array, and three-dimensional array. So here 3-dimensional arrays are nothing but the n-dimensional arrays. So dear student, let's meet in the next session with more information about arrays. Until that, keep watching and keep learning. Thank you.